Assalamualaikum. Today we are going to discuss about the critical incidents in movie Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning Part 1, directed by Christopher McQuarrie. Our group consists of 3 members, which is Nur Aina, Nurul Irina Sufi, and Fariatul Huda. The synopsis of this movie: Ethan Hunt and IMF face an entity as an enemy in a deadly race to find a powerful weapon, balancing their mission with the world's fate. Starting with critical incident 1, which is a positive scene, and the theory we took is interpersonal communication, group discussion skill. Analysis of this scene is Elena had a very important key and she had to entrust it to either Ethan or Gabriel. So 3 of them gather and start a discussion, and during that everyone is listening attentively to each other and waiting for their turn to speak to persuade Elena. This giving Elena a peaceful mind to think. Even though there is an agreement and a disagreement, everyone did not involve emotion. There is no shouting or saying harsh words to each other. The effect from these critical incidents, because of everyone's cooperation, Elena got to think rationally and made the best choice that is beneficial for her. The recommendation is, during discussion, everyone must want their voice to be heard clearly, because the decision made during the discussion might affect them. So everyone should give full attention when somebody is talking and take note on some crucial point. This is to ensure that the best outcome or decision is the best choice and most beneficial. Moving on to incident critical 2, which is a negative scene. So the theory we took from is professional interaction, accountability. So analysis from these critical incidents: while heading back to their headquarters, a Russian submarine's radar suddenly detect an enemy's submarine firing a missile toward them. The captain quickly instruct the crew to fire a counter missile so it will crash with enemies. After firing their missile, their submarine radar unable to detect enemy's missile. The missile and enemy submarine suddenly vanish from the radar. Then the captain just conclude it as an error from their system, but his co-captain begged to differ. Unfortunately, the captain just dismissed his co-captain warning and even belittle him. A few seconds after that, their submarine's radar able to detect the enemy's missile, but everything is too late and their submarine get bombed by the missile. So the effect from these critical incidents, due to the captain's ignorance and irresponsibility, his submarine got bombed and sunken, resulting to all his crew die. Recommendation from this scene is, a leader should not immediately disregard their subordinates' opinion. A good leader should actively listen to others' opinion, because they have a lot of responsibility. So they need to know what's going on in their company and workers in order to make better choices. Else, it will affect their workers' well-being as they depend solely on their leader. Critical incidents 2, which is a negative scene. The theory we took is professional interaction, handling and resolving conflict. The analysis from these critical incidents: Benji, Luther and Ethan worked as a team during a mission. During the mission, Benji and Luther discovered a nuclear bomb in passenger's bag. But they decide not to tell Ethan about it because they did not want to disturb Ethan's focus on another important mission. Benji thought that he could defuse the nuclear bomb alone, but in reality he could not, because he had to solve some ridiculous riddle in order to defuse them. In the end, Luther need to seek Ethan's help and able to defuse the bomb a few seconds before it detonates. The effect is due to Luther and Benji's ego and how they excluded Ethan from the mission. The nuclear bomb almost exploded and killed everyone in the airport. But luckily, Luther seeks Ethan's help and able to defuse the bomb. Recommendation from this scene: when work in a team, everyone should know the progress and problem arising, because it could affect work progress and objective targeted. Also, by including everyone in a task, it shows our respect to them.
Hi, my name is Farihatul Huda. I would like to explain about the critical incidents that happen in this movie. Alright, we move to the critical incident number 4, which is positive scene. The theory is this scene is a reliability as the partner. For the analysis, they are being chased by their enemy, which is Paris. Paris wanted to chase them because she wanted the key that was with Grace. They were both tied together because they wanted to escape. To get away, they discovered a car, but Grace had to drive it because of the certain things. Being chained with Ethan, Grace had to drive the two of them away from the bad people who are after them. She was terrified, panicking, and her thoughts were racing. In her fright, Grace's feet pressed the pedal, giving her control over the steering and causing the vehicle to spin in a circular motion. With one hand still linked to Grace, Ethan calmly directed Grace to steer the car to a safer location. So for the effect, because of Ethan calmly got Grace to drive the car in the dire situation, Grace's life was safe because of Ethan's reliability as her partner. And for the recommendation, there is no recommendation allowed since this is a positive scene. This scene wants to show that Ethan is a reliable partner and he acts as a support system for Grace to drive the car, even their hands was handcuffed by the steering wheel. So next, we move on to the critical incident 5, which is the negative scene. The theory of this scene is a hierarchical relation. As you can notice in the video, during a meeting, the director went mad at his subordinates because they left him out of important information, which was the establishment of the spy organization. He was ignored by his subordinates. For him, based on our theory that we have made, he needed to know everything since he is a director. But his teammates left him out and the director felt hurt and bruised his ego. So for the effect, the critical incident is the director heard some harsh words towards his teammates and his ego was bruised because he was ignored. So for the recommendation, as someone who has a higher power, we should be professional and seek for classification first so that no one else will be left out. Additionally, we should consider the consequence of our words before speaking, as doing so might worsen the problem. We are also in charge of reminding people of their errors so they would immediately recognize them and make an effort to change their way of thinking. Alright, next we are going to the critical incident 6, which is also negative scene. The theory that has been made is also hierarchical relations, which is status and power. So Mr. Kittredge, which is Ethan's boss, showed his superiority based on our theory, which are status and power. He said that Ethan is just a tool that he used for his own purpose and satisfaction. He also pressured Ethan to follow his instruction and he said that the next war isn't gonna be a cold one, but will be a shooting war. He convinced Ethan to listen to him, but he failed to get Ethan's settlement because of his selfish way of talking. So the effect of this scene is Ethan lost trust for Mr. Kittredge and he didn't follow his order. So for the recommendation, Mr. Kittredge must learn how to be compromised. He have to learn how to incorporate the opinions of others and let go what he want as an individual for the good of the group. He also have to let others to make their own decision instead of trying to control every aspect just for his self-interest. Alright, that's all from me. I will pass the slide to Nur Aina to present the other critical incidents in this movie. Thank you.
Assalamualaikum and hi, I'm Aina and we continue the presentation with critical incident number 7. The theory that we came up with from this scene is a professional interaction, which is reliability, and it is a positive scene. In this scene, Eden and Grace supposedly go on their final mission together and have to hide their identities by wearing a 3D printed mask that has Alana's face and her helper's face on it. For your information, Alana and her helpers is Ethan's and Grace's enemies. The 3D printed mask can be helped with their technology, but to their unfortunate surprise, the machine that supposedly printed the mask blew off and only Alana's face was printed. This situation made Grace anxious as she had to go alone to finish the mission. Eden reassured Grace to go alone as he would think of another way to infiltrate their enemy's base. He promised Grace that he would be there beside her no matter what. The effect of the situation is that Grace trusted in Ethan's word and reliability and went to finish the mission with the help of her teammates. Eden was also there as he kept his promise with Grace. This shows that Eden is a reliable teammate and with his help, they managed to finish their mission successfully. Move on to critical incident 8. In this scene, Eden was supposedly jumping from a sloping hill. He should land on top of the tree to infiltrate their enemy's base and go help Grace as she was alone on the mission. But as Eden arrived on top of the hill, he was facing a big dilemma. The hill that was supposed to be lower and easy to jump off was replaced with a high, dangerous cliff with lots of rock spikes at the bottom. Eden confronted Benji about this situation because Benji was the one in charge of leading Eden down a safe route, but the situation differs from what Benji told Eden. Benji calmly told Eden to jump off the cliff as he had put a parachute inside Eden's backpack. Eden was baffled by Benji's suggestion because he was skeptical that a mere parachute could help him land safely on top of the tree without a scratch. As a human that can think logically, Benji's word is not very convincing for Eden to sacrifice his life for, but Benji kept on persuading Eden to jump as that was the only route to get on top of their enemy's base. As the consequence, Eden gambled with his life and jumped off the high cliff with his trust in Benji's word to finish their mission and keep his promise to Grace. He safely landed and finished his mission, safe and sound. This scene's theory is problem-solving skill and a negative scene because Benji did not tell Eden about the dangerous route he should be faced on. The recommendation from this scene is that Benji should have discussed this plan first and foremost before Eden went and finished his mission to avoid conflict that would harm another person's life. Last but not least, the theory for critical incident number 9 is interpersonal communication, which is bad at negotiation skills. The analysis from this scene is that Eden knew how to retrieve the other half of the keys, but at his own expense. This was because the enemy asked him to go alone to the place that they chose. The enemy also warned him not to bring any help or they would kill his teammates and their beloved ones. Eden was in a big trouble because he knew he would not be in a peace after he retrieved the other key, but he would not be too heartless to sacrifice his teammates. He confronted his teammates about these issues and suggested that he should go alone. But his teammates disagreed with his idea and said they would also be there to help Eden. Eden was not very good at negotiation with his teammates, and this led to a few arguments between them. And Eden finally gave up and let his teammates do whatever they wanted. For this scene, it would be nice if Eden could approach this situation with a professional mindset. He should not let his ego win and listen to what his teammates advise him to do. Who knows, maybe they had a better plan that could help their group get the key successfully. And as for the end of our presentation, we can conclude that excellent communication skills, a high degree of tolerance, and the capacity to function well under pressure are all valuable attributes to possess and use in the workplace. These qualities are proven they can ultimately increase team cooperation and help us achieve the desired goals in our work. The valuable lessons that we got in this movie are, in order to have a better debate, communication is essential. Other than that, appropriate emotional support is crucial for preserving a positive team culture. And lastly, we have to learn to work under pressure to improve our progress as a team. That's all from us. We end our presentation with thank you.